In Lesson 1-9, we will work on traditional subtraction. You will need your whiteboard marker, and eraser. We are going to go ahead and look at the first two problems. So on your whiteboard, we're going to start with number 1. Caleb had $90. He spent $37 on books. How much does he have left? So just like if you were to go into the store and give the cashier money for the items that you purchased, you would be given back money from the amount that was given that you would get back. So we're going to, over on your whiteboard, would you please write 90? He spent $37, so they're going to subtract the $37 that is owed to the store. How much money does he have left? Well, you cannot subtract $7 from 0. So we're going to take one of those $10 bills. Instead of having 9, we'll have 8, and we're going to convert it basically into 10 $1 bills. We're going to write that there. So 8 $10 bills and 10 $1 bills is the same as 90. Now I can go ahead and subtract. 10 minus 7, doing this on your whiteboard with me, is 3. 8 minus 3 is 5. He should receive $53 in change, or that's how much money he would have left. Go ahead and erase that, and we will do the next problem. The next one is not a word problem. Instead, we're going to take the larger number. Remember, the larger number always goes on top. So we're going to take 235 and subtract 159 from it. Again, I cannot subtract 9 from 5. 5 minus 9 does not work. So I'm going to think of it in terms of money if it helps you. I'm going to take one of those $10 bills, turn it into 10 $1 bills. So now altogether I have 15. That 1 goes in front of the 5. 15 minus 9 is 6. I cannot subtract 5 from 2, so I'm going to borrow from the 2 and make it a 1. Put that in front of the 2 to make 12 $10 bills. 12 minus 5 is 7. Well, we're not talking money, I guess. Sometimes it does help to think of it in terms of money, but the answer is 76. Let's try one more before we move into our math journal. I'm going to line this up so that it's easier to subtract. So go ahead and write the larger number on top, 425. We're going to subtract 278 from it. You're going to go ahead, so can I take 5 minus 8? No. So I'm going to go right next door and borrow 1 from that 2 and make it 1. Put those 10 in front of the 5 to make 15. 15 minus 8 is 7. I cannot take 1 minus 7, so I'm going to borrow from the 4 and make it a 3. Put that 10 in front of the 1 to get 11. 11 minus 7 is 4, and 3 minus 2 is 1. So we're going to go ahead and practice. I'm going to go ahead and move past this screen and go to our math journal. So we are working in our math journal on page 21. Go ahead and open to page 21. I will only show you one problem at a time on the screen, but you will see multiple problems on your math journal page. So it says make an estimate. Just like we did the other day with adding, we are going to make an estimate this time before we actually subtract. Write a number model to show your thinking. We are going to solve each problem using what we consider the U.S. traditional subtraction, United States. Compare your answer with your estimate to see whether your answer makes sense. So again, we're going to round just like we did the other day to the nearest 10. So 58, is it closer to 50 or 60? We're going to write 60, it's closer to 60. And is 39 closer to 39 or 40? 5 or more, raise the score. I want you to write this in your math journal right next to where this problem is written. Now go ahead and solve. Remember to pause your video as needed. Our answer should be close to 20, so let's go ahead and solve. I cannot take 9 and subtract it from 8. So what I'm going to do is to borrow from the tens. Think of it as money. Take a $10 bill and turn it into 10 ones. Now instead of having 8 ones, I have 18. 18 minus 9 is 9. And 4 minus 3 is 1. So my estimate was 20. Is that pretty close to my actual answer of 19? Absolutely. Move on to number 2. Notice that one is written horizontally or from left to right rather than from top to bottom, but we're going to go ahead and rewrite it. Again, we'll make an estimate first and to show our number model off to the right. So we're going to look at 94. Is that closer to 90 or 100? Closer to 90. Go ahead and write this in the empty space to the right of the problem. 90 minus 56, is it closer to 50 or 60? Well, the number to the right, the ones place, is 5 or more, so I'll raise the score. Go ahead and subtract. 9 minus 6 is 3. Our estimate is 30. Let's go ahead and see if that's what we get. I am going to rewrite the problem next to it, 94 minus 56. I'm not going to try to borrow over here. That's just too confusing and I might easily make a mistake. So I'll go ahead, know that I cannot take 4 minus 6. So I'm going to borrow from the 9, make it an 8, take that 10 and put it in front of the 4 to make 14. 14 minus 6 is 8, and 8 minus 5 is 3. Is 38 pretty close to 30? Yeah, it's pretty close. We're going to go ahead and move to the next problem. Looking at number 3. We're going to go ahead again and make an estimate first. Well, we can keep 600 as is. That one is easy to deal with. Let's round 379 to the nearest 100. 5 or more, raise the score. Go ahead and subtract. Again, remember, pause the video as needed. Now we're going to go ahead where our estimate should be close to 200. We're going to go ahead, 0 minus 9. Don't forget, you cannot take $9 from where there is no money. So I go to the next place value over. Is there anything to borrow? Nope. So I actually have to go one more place over to go all the way over to the 6. I'm going to make that 6 a 5. It's like taking a $100 bill and breaking it up into 10 tens. 10 $10 bills is the same as the 100. Now I can borrow one of those tens, take one away from there, and add it to the ones place. 10 minus 9 is 1. 9 minus 7 is 2. And 5 minus 3 is 2. Is my estimate close to my actual answer? Absolutely. Number 3. Again, we're going to make an estimate first. Is 836 closer to 800 or 900? 4 or less, let it rest. So in your math journal, write down the estimation right next to the problem. 782, is that closer to 700 or 800? Closer to 800. Now when I subtract, my answer is not going to be 0, but we know it's going to be a smaller number. Let's go ahead and figure out the actual answer. 6 minus 2 is 4. I cannot take 3 minus 8, so I'm going to borrow from the 8 and make that a 7 and put those 10 in front of the 3 to make 13. 13 minus 8 is 5. And 7 minus 7 is 0. Oftentimes we just leave that. Is 54 close to 0? Well, it's about halfway, but we know that if we would have ended up with an answer, let's say, of 14 here, we know, oh, something happened. I'm going to go back and look at it again. Number 5. Again, we'll make an estimate. We'll round to the nearest 1,000 in the first one. 5 or less, 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. We're going to let it rest at 5,000. Now, because our next number is in the hundreds, we'll round to the nearest 100. 4 or less, let it rest. So we're going to go ahead. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. I cannot take 0 minus 2, so borrow from the 5 and make it a 4. Put those 10 in front of the 0 to make 10 minus 2 is 8. And bring your 4 straight down. Our answer should be close to 4,800. Now, pause the video and see if you can solve the next one on your own. Again, remember, I cannot take 2 minus 4, so I'm going to borrow from the 7 and make it a 6. Put those 10 in front of the 2 to make 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. 6 minus 3 is 3. I cannot subtract 1 minus 2. The larger number has to be on the top, so I'm going to borrow from the 5. Make it a 4. Put that 10 in front of the 1 to make 11. Minus 2 is 9. And bring your 4 straight down. My estimate was 4,800. Is that close to 4,938? Absolutely. What you're going to do now is to go ahead and work on the home link 1-9. You will be submitting that to Schoology. Please remember to estimate before you actually solve. You can do this, I know it.